Hi, Lilt. You're first. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Maki. You are gonna just vibe today. Gonna absolutely fucking chill. How do I just redo things? Reset the Tekken career. Save data clear. Yep. Hi, Maki. My Crimmus was good. My Crimmus was good. I have a second screen now. Like I kind of already knew that I was going to be getting it, but I can actually like I can see you guys on my computer screen while I play on the other screen. Great. Yeah. Woo. I hope your Christmas was good. Your Crimbo. So loud in my ears. Let's just yeah. All the ambience gone. Just gonna be this stuff. Definitely want to turn that down too. At least in my own ears. How's that? Better. It's nice, not a lot of celebration or gifts, but with the year that I've had, it was low-key one of the happiest Christmases I've ever had. Aww, that sounds wonderful. Let's get that, yeah, UI. Sometimes all you really want for one of these things is just for things to be good and nice. And just kind of be able to relax. But yeah, I got some clothes and stuff. I got my new monitor, which means that while streaming, I don't have to be staring at my phone, which is very nice. Not necessarily having to worry about my phone being charged for stream. Ascendant. I also got a lava lamp that is currently sitting by my desk and heating up. So right now there's no lava gooshies flying around. Lava lamp based. I should get one of those when I move rooms. Yeah. Because at one point you guys are going downstairs, right? So you shouldn't be in a laundry room anymore. Yeah. But yeah, so right now my lava lamp is just kind of glowing in the corner with no gooshies flying around as it just heats up. I didn't know that the stuff inside of lava lamps was like wax. That's what I found out while I was reading the instructions. What did you think it actually was? I didn't know what it was. I just didn't know that it was specifically wax. Could have been anything in there. I wouldn't have known. Some kind of plastic or whatever. Removal van outside my nightmare neighbor's place. They're finally going. Whoever moves in there is going to need a quality pressure washer. Eee. Mystery goop. I feel like as a kid, some small part of me always wanted to just, like, drink that stuff. It always just looked like it would feel good to, like, bite or something. Chewable goop. Hi, Cola VT. Hapapapa. When you know he's not hydrated enough. Hope you're doing well, Cola. Hope you had a good Crimmus. A Merry Chrysler. You did? I'm glad. I did have a good one. Pretty good, pretty chill. Heck yeah. My only thing is just that I'm tired. I haven't been, falling asleep super easy the past few days. But that's also partially why I'm giving myself a little chill day with this. Just something real relaxing and low-key. No big vibes today. Sleep has been off lately too, yeah. Had dinner with Letha's family. His dad gave me a bottle of really tasty wine, so sweet it was almost like a cider. Oh, wow. I would be curious to try more wines and everything now that I've actually, like, had more drinks, because, like, one of the first drinks that I did have was, like, a wine thing, and it was very strong for me, considering I hadn't drinking anything. And then later I had all kinds of other stuff. Yay! We did the thing. Is this the extraordinary Dr. PowerWash? I got your details from your friend Harper. I could really do with a cleaning. Blah, blah, blah. Yay. What's up with the arms behind me? There were certain parts of that where I was showing arms like it was like detecting my fucking VR. A lot of variety in wine. Personally, I'm usually not a huge fan of it, but I do like mulled wine and this sweet dessert wine. Yeah. It does seem like there'd be a lot of variations in alcohols. Okay, where to start? Let's start with these stones. My first girlfriend, Floriane Perez, used to live here back in the day. Those were the good times. My sleep has also been off, but thankfully I had an extended weekend, which ends tomorrow, sadly. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that it'll be over, but at least it was good. I mean, not the lack of sleep, but the general vibes. Go get them dollar bills. It's a pay week and I get paid tomorrow? Heck yeah. Money, money, money. Wild, I'm getting laser eye surgery for Christmas, though. The gift of sight. What a fantastic present. A laser shot directly into your open eye. But positive. Hmm. Oh wait, this counts as the gate. After recent black backlash, I will be re-blinding 1,000 people. Russian badger. Still wild to me that like Mr. Beast is one of the few like rich ass people who regularly attempts to do some good with his like fucking wealth and everything. And people are like, how dare you make content for it even though that's giving you more money to do more good things for people. It's like just staring at them. It's like, abide not the capitalist. It's just one of those things where it's like, it seems like people would have been happier if he just stuck to making dumbass videos and doing dumb shit with his fucking riches instead of good things. Which is so confusing and weird. It's like, yes, they're like, I'm very anti-capitalism in a lot of ways and etc., but it's like, while we do still exist in the fucking system, wouldn't we prefer people like him to do good things than just be irresponsible and shitty? True, there are certainly less deserving people out there to focus on Elon Musk. Yeah. Makes sense. We complain about millionaires not helping out, and the one major one that does and shows everyone, people says he's only doing it for the fame, he's not doing it enough. Yeah. It's like the ideal situation is that stuff like that didn't have to exist, but it's like, our world is fucked. There's a bunch of assholes who don't give a shit, so it's like, and we can't afford proper health care for things like that, where we actually could cure their blindness and whatnot, and then we just don't. Hi, Strassa. I did have a good Xmas. Crimmus. Hi, Softy Sam. Yeah, we just having a chill vibe day after Christmas. A friend of mine at uni always used to say, if the billionaire is still a billionaire after helping out, they didn't help enough. I don't give a shit, but in a nice way. I mean, yeah, but it's like, I don't know how much money Mr. Beast, like, actually has for himself, because he doesn't really show off that kind of thing. I mean, it usually depends on the person, yeah. Case by case basis. Hi, Squirrely. I am doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had good holidays. Doing well, just vibing? Heck yeah. Make a version of this game where you start with a clean place and make it dirty. Just smearing dirt everywhere, get like a garbage hose and just splatter it. Just don't know why they don't clean their own yard when they have enough time to mow their yard and make their plants grow healthy. I mean, it's one of those things where over time, stuff like this just kind of builds up, and then, like, you don't really know how to go about it, and it feels overwhelming, and, like, gardening for a lot of people can be cathartic, but then, like, they wouldn't even know how to begin to, like, clean these, like, bricks and everything in the wall, and, you know, if a pressure washer dude can, like, come in and just kind of do it, and you have the money for it, why not? Make the plot a big conspiracy to lower local house values. Oh god. The guy after getting famous made a burger chain, does insane charities. People still think he's on the same immoral level as... Yeah, no, he's definitely not on the same level as those people. I still think about the fact that, like, one of the people, like, one of his, like, good friends and people on the team and everything came out as trans, and everyone started, like, talking shit about it, and then, like, Mr. Beast just, like, went off on them online, was just like, no, fuck you. It's like, this is my friend, I will not fucking abide by this bullshit. It's like acting like this is some kind of bad thing on me or on my channel or whatever. It's like, this is a human being, this is my friend, and I will not fucking stand for this shit. Like, actually using curses and whatnot in it, just to be like, no, fuck you. And I was just like, hell yeah. We love a trans ally. Justifying my laziness is creating jobs for others. If I did everything myself, the economy would surely be in ruins. I mean, in a way, actually, yes. Which is the weird thing. If everybody just did everything themselves, the economy as is would kind of crumble. This game was more realistic. The only way to clean the most efficient would be from top to bottom. I'm kind of glad that it's not fully realistic. I prefer it just to be nice and... What's up? Do you like bike? Do you do bikes? Could do with someone running their thing over my deadbeat dirt bike. Cool. And then nobody would be able to have an undercooked Mr. Beast burger. I mean, that part just has to do with ghost kitchens being bullshit. Let's save that for later. Let's do some of the other shit over here. Ba 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 ba. Remember when that obnoxious vegan teacher tried to start up her usual BS because of the pizza? God. If I were to play this game, I would make a rule that I can't walk on dirty surfaces. Well, that might get very tough later in the game, where it's like floor to ceiling, nothing but dirt. Want my Mr. Beast burger cooked by Mr. Beast and made of Mr. Beast? Yep, just Mr. Beast has a cloning facility so that you can have a bite of Mr. Beast on every burger. Okay, the door's good. Tried being a piece of shit towards Mr. Beast because he's not a vegan. I think that's the most annoying thing about, like, a lot of vegans and everything is just the fact that they are so combative towards people about becoming vegan and everything. Like, it's an extreme moral failing if they don't. And I know that a lot of them, like, point to, like, animal cruelty and everything, but it's also like, you're not gonna make people want to turn by just being shitty towards them. I don't think that's ever happened in history where it's like, you look at someone and be like, fuck you, the thing you're doing is wrong, do this thing. I don't think a lot of people look at that and then go, you know what, you're right, I should change. It's like, no. Don't do that. Pointing at pizza in the hallway of a Furcon. One of theirs Mr. Beast cake. Does have a chocolate brand. Harrowed by the fact veganism is objectively the moral and ethical way to live, but I'm simply too lazy to be so. I also like meat too much. It's very good. And vegan stuff is gradually getting better, but it's still not great. Like, look, if they can make something that tastes just as good as standard meat, and then also fucking, like, if they can make something that tastes just as good as standard meat and then also isn't like drop dead expensive, then I'll give it up. But vegans claim animal cruelty, yet quite a few of them partake in animal cruelty by forcing their pet to eat plants. Yeah. Possible meat substitutes would be considered vegan, but it tastes like meat. Some of the impossible stuff is better than others, but it's also, like, usually way more expensive, and not quite as good. Like, some of them are close, but it's like... It's not like 5-star restaurants are being like, here's an impossible thing that's on par with our stuff. Like, no. It's close. It's okay. I do really like Beyond Burgers, though. It doesn't taste like meat, but it tastes good in a different way. Yeah. But it's like, we're just in a point where it's like either too expensive to have a good vegan option, the flavor isn't there yet, or just like it's not widespread enough. Like, we're getting closer, but it's like there's no world in which somebody just kind of swaps because it's the better option. Probably easier to convince people to just take a reduced meat intake at first. Yeah, like finding ways to have meals and everything with less meat, or just kind of eating meals that have different focuses. Hi, Cross. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had good Christmas. Good Crimmus. If you celebrate Christmas where you are. Because there's a lot of good vegan and vegetarian meals out there. Remember at one time in middle school, one teacher tried making people disgusted with me by forcing us to read and watch stories about how cruel animal meat processing is. Oh yeah, because that's always the best thing with children. Fucking public shaming. My response after all that was, yeah, that is pretty sad. Still gonna order myself a Big Mac after all this. And that's the thing, is that it genuinely is sad, but it's also like, if I specifically stop eating a Big Mac, McDonald's is not gonna stop. I mean, I don't really eat Big Macs much, but it's just like, it's just one of those like random examples of just like, they're not suffering because I specifically stopped. No less cows are dying. I was never really moved by the ethical concerns, just how much the inefficiency of agriculture, particularly meat farming, is fucking the planet. Oh yeah, like that's a good, like there's a lot of good reasons to like be, like to stop eating meat and all that, but it's just like, me stopping is not going to stop fucking this big company. Christmas here ends an hour early. Ah. Why is that? And the scale it's at means it's probably only going to be tackled by international policy and politics. Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at, where it's like, they're not gonna stop. They're literally across, like, the entire world. They make so much fucking money. There's so many industries exploiting animals and everything that it's like, my individual fucking thing is not going to actually contribute. Only rather than me eating chickpeas. I don't eat Big Macs either. It was the first burger that popped in my head. If I really wanted to piss them off, I should have said Baconator. Twitter's taught me anything. Trusting the rest of humanity to do the good thing is a bad bet. That was my DLC, but you're actually hearing Angel Dust song. Yeah. Love this song. Can't wait for Hazbin Hotel to come out. I did really love enjoying, like, fucking Husk's VA and, like, the pilot and being like, I don't know, like he's already a pretty good actor and everything, and I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I don't know if, like, they should, like, replace him. And then they were like, it's gonna be Keith David, and I'm like, take my money. Like, never mind. It's Keith David. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Hyped AF about it? Yeah. Thought about doing a special Christmas drawing, but I'd created a block and ended up not doing anything special. That's okay. It happens. Doc bumped in the park warden. He definitely needs your help. Yeah, well, my schedule's always full, buddy. Imagine this TV series Disney are doing for Star Wars becomes so popular they non-canonize the sequels to have more room. I don't think they're going to non-canonize the sequels, especially given the fact that they've talked about doing a new movie with Rey, which I think is a good thing. I really do think that she deserves another chance now that Disney's not going to be fucking going in without plans and bullshit, especially given that fucking Dave Filoni is kind of running the show with Star Wars now, and he was fucking personally trained by George Lucas. Playing a New Year special? Nice. Keith David as Husker isn't a bad choice, but in my opinion, he should have played Lucifer. I mean, they could have moved things around, but it's like... Either way, it's like, I'm not going to be mad at them having fucking Husk being able to sing like Dr. Facilier and all that. Lay down. Shiroke. Should be a retelling of the sequel movies. I don't necessarily think they can undo what they've already done at this point. Like, just pretend like it doesn't exist anymore. Even if I think that if they'd gone different directions with certain things, it would have been accepted better. But I think it's just better to just kind of keep moving forward and try and be better with stuff going forward and have a goddamn plan. Do you think all the New Republic stuff they're doing at the moment is kind of funny with the whole, oh yeah, this all gets blown up in like 10 years? I mean, in a way, it does kind of give more actual consequences to that stuff, because it's like, they went straight from the fucking the older movies to the sequel trilogy and being like, oh, they're all blown up. And it's just like, you know, we didn't really care at that point. Like, oh man, they blew up a bunch of planets we've never been to and never cared about. Here, 2 minutes notice. Yeah, I love that song. Love Hell of a Boss. Not the government. But like, I'm one of the people who really thought that the sequel trilogy had like promise and everything, and it was just like they went in without a fucking plan, so it just exploded in their faces. Like, do not go into a trilogy with no plan. Like, the fact that it, like, worked for George Lucas with the original trilogy because it was originally just kind of intended to be one movie, and then it worked. So, like, the fact that it worked for him does not mean that, like, they could pull it off. Have a nice cleaning simulation in stream? Yeah, of course, Softy. If you gotta go, bye. Here's some advice to Disney. Don't hire a director known for crappy comedies and publicly stated that he hates Star Wars. I mean, Rian Johnson, like, I don't even necessarily hate everything that he did in fucking... Like, I don't hate the idea of Rey being, like, a nobody. Like, having no, like... no big, like, thing behind her and everything, that she was just some random fucking person. And it's like, if anything, I feel like that says something better about Star Wars. I hate the whole thing with, like, the Palpatine thing and making it about, like, bloodlines and legacies and whatnot. Like, it means more if she is nobody and has, like, no attachment to any of this stuff, and she was just some girl in the aftermath of all this who idolized the idea of, like, Jedi and whatnot, and she was just Force sensitive. One of those things where the more smart people that do well-explained breakdowns of the sequels, the more I realized just how bad the whole setup was. Honestly, I think Abrams was just as much of a problem. Yeah, like, I think they could have done something good if they had just taken, like, the concept of the first movie and then, like, fully ran with it that way, or if they'd, like, gone through the second movie and then just accepted that that was the path that they were going and then embraced that. It's just the fact that, like, again, they went in with no plan. They did not plan out any of these movies. They kind of just had it, like, all scattered about, and then when the second one didn't do well because they did a lot of bad decisions in that one, they tried to backpedal and bring Abrams back in, but Abrams is good at setting up mysteries. Abrams is not good at explaining mysteries. Like, he mentions the, like, he has this whole, like, TED Talk thing about, like, the mystery box and how, like, the mystery itself is maybe more enticing than, like, the actual, like, answers and everything, but, like, that's not an excuse to, like, not have answers prepared, my guy. Hi, laughs. The idea of her being a nobody isn't a bad idea in concept. Yeah, because, like, if you think about it, fucking Anakin Skywalker was a nobody. Like, he was truly fucking nobody, and then there was just a legend that said, like, he was the chosen one. And it's just like, half of it was just carried by the fact that we knew that he was fucking gonna become Darth Vader and all that. But, you know. There was that one show I forget the name of. He'd end every episode on a cliffhanger. They had to make him stop. But yeah, I don't really hate a lot of things from the sequel trilogy on principle. Maybe not entirely a nobody because of the mystery of her family and why they left her on Jakku, but definitely not have her directly related to the whole Jedi and Sith BS, especially by making her a Palpatine. I mean, like, the ultimate thing with Rey is that she's like, she was somebody who was abandoned by her family and whatnot, and for whatever reason. And so much of her decision making and everything throughout all of the, like, the movies and everything ties back to that one fucking detail about her where it's just like, she's looking to belong. She's trying to find that thing that makes her feel like she belongs somewhere. It's the whole reason why she went with Kylo Ren for that later thing, because she kind of felt like maybe she could turn him and it'd be good and they could belong together and whatnot. But it's like, no. He's got his own shit going on. He made his own bad decisions. And it's like, another issue with, like, Bernie, thank you so much for the sub. I think the bloodline thing in the third movie could have worked if the ending message of the second movie wasn't, it doesn't matter who you are, who you're related to. Yeah, it's like, there's no through line with the movies. It's like, either you have to accept that, like, 2 is the direction and go forward, or 2 messed up the, like, the through line of the first and third movie, but, like, either way, it's like, it doesn't become conducive. Somewhere along the way, they had to commit to something, and they never did. Like, I don't necessarily think that, like, the mystery of her parents needed to be, like, a solved thing of, like, why did they leave her? And it's like, they could have just sold her for money. The Star Wars universe is kind of fucked up. Like, that's just a genuine thing that could have happened. And then it makes, like, the relationships and the things around herself all the better. City Ghoul, thank you so much for subbing with Twitch Prime. Ah, hype train. Ah. The prequels were a mess, but at least they helped tell the story of the rise of the Empire with Order 66 and stuff like that. Yeah, and, like, people still have gone back and looked at the prequels and been like, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Like, not all of it is, like, perfect, but it's like, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And I do think, to a degree, that, like, you could say the same thing about the sequels, where it's like, if people kind of distance themselves a little bit and stop with the whole fucking Rey is a Mary Sue thing. Like, oh yeah, Rey's a Mary Sue, huh? Like, what about Luke Skywalker? Man's fucking flew an X-Wing, like, expertly and, like, was allowed to take part in the army despite having no flying experience. Like, why? Up. Snowball, what? And it's like, if you want to talk about Mary Sue's and everything, then again, Anakin Skywalker. Like, Star Wars is no fucking stranger to having characters that seem like they're like super powerful and things work out for them for no reason. And it's like, half of it is explained in universe by fucking the Force. But it's just like, if anything, Rey, I feel like, has like a lot of explanations as to why she is the way that she is, and then Force powers wise, it's like, she's Force sensitive. That's just a thing. And it's not like she was using Force powers before the plot even started. I'm a person who will genuinely go to bat for Rey, because I do feel like she is not as bad as everyone was saying she was. At least with the Jedi stuff, we see his training on Dagobah with Yoda. Meanwhile, Rey has the random Force powers like healing. I mean, they're not random. Like, Force healing is genuinely a power in like the extended Star Wars universe in a lot of places, and like we even see that she has like older books from like the fucking Star Wars Jedi Masters and everything that we know that she'd been studying in between the second and third movie. She literally starts with training in that fucking movie. Like, we see her like meditating and training and whatnot, and it's just like fucking Grogu from The Mandalorian. He uses Force healing despite being a literal infant. Nobody complains about that. It's a mix of power creep and scale of spectacle, and the sequels needing to be Marvel big and using Force powers to further the plot in some really messy ways. Like, I can kind of understand that, but it's still just like, there's a precedent for these things if you like pay attention for longer than 2 seconds. And some of it just feels like they were mad that Rey was a woman. Rey isn't really OP within her own story, just when compared to older stuff. I mean, kinda. And it's something that also applies to Kylo just as much. I mean, maybe. I don't really think there's anything specific that Kylo does that's, like, out of sorts with, like, the Force. If anything, Kylo is much more, martial-focused. I mean, that's, like, part of the whole plot thing is that, like, Snoke was comparing him to Vader because Vader was so strong in the Force, and Kylo's more martial-focused. Kylo is incredibly OP, but because of the way the story is written, he uses his powers super inconsistently. I mean, he, like, the only, like, cool example of, like, his powers within the movies is just him, like, pausing a blaster bolt in midair in that one opening scene. Other than that, I don't really remember him using his Force powers that much, or, like, that well. I mean, yeah, he freezes Rey in that one scene. He's got the ability to completely mind read people at points. I mean, that's just a Jedi Force power. That's just a normal thing in the series. I think some of this is just an example of people not knowing Star Wars lore. This is just a normal thing. A lot of times where he could use those to win, but just chooses not to. I mean, yeah, but that's also, like, that's somewhat in character for Kylo, just because he's, like, he's very immature and thinks that he knows best, and just kind of is very reckless and hot-headed. Doesn't think things clearly. This is why I just say they're OP compared to the OG trilogy. Yeah, I can kind of understand that. I just want to see Rey train. We see her build up like she can have the abilities, but she has difficulty trying to use it. We see her during training trying to tap into those powers, get a better understanding. I mean, part of the problem is the fact that it's like the movies were badly paced. Like, the second movie takes place within, like, 1 or 2 days. We take extended lore into things. Starkiller is always going to be one of the bigger boys. Oh, yeah. Like, and, like, the thing with, like, the whole, like, people showing up with force powers they didn't have in previous, like, entries and everything. I look at Luke Skywalker in fucking Return of the Jedi in the last one. He randomly shows up at the beginning using Force Choke like it's fucking nothing. And, like, showing off all kinds of, like, abilities and everything that we didn't see him, like, training for or talking about learning and everything in the previous one. He just showed up and is like, I have these now. And everyone's like, cool. He also had a really weird explanation for how Rey learned the Force. Apparently, when Kylo was using his mind reading on her, she accidentally downloaded his Force knowledge. Yeah, that sounds stupid. And that makes no sense. That's stupid, and I choose to ignore that. Especially given that they did not explain that in the movie. If anything, if Rey is at her turn, we dive into more of her story. I feel like it could be like a mini-series like Ahsoka instead of movies, so that way we can have more time to pace the story and flesh stuff out. I'd love that. But it feels like they really want Rey to be, like, movie-focused. I'd love a fucking TV show and everything with Rey. I'd also love it if like, they fucking did more with Finn, but at this point, John Boyega is like, nah, I'm not fucking coming back. Fuck them. Which I think is perfectly understandable, given in the first movie, it really felt like Finn was going to be kind of one of the main characters, and then the second movie really fucked him. And then the third movie, they're like, well, it's kind of fucked at this point. He's just kind of around with Rey. In the true holy timeline, The Mandalorian comes out before the sequels and changes the trajectory of Star Wars forever. I mean, would I have liked, like, an alternate timeline where, like, they followed up differently and, like, the First Order, like, didn't happen, but they still followed up with storylines about, like, Rey and Kylo and just, like, Finn and, like, all that, and just kind of arranged it differently around, like, The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and all that? Yeah, I would have loved that. That would have been fucking sick. Cue the Star Wars music. Look, you're almost done. My girls can't wait to get out there. Congrats. In the first movie, it looked like Finn and Rey were going to be like the dynamic duo of the trilogy. And then in the second movie, he felt like got slapped with a B plot no one cared about. And then the third, calling him a side character would be generous. Yeah, like that's the issue, is that like it really felt like they were building him up to be like kind of almost like the secondary protagonist. And then Rian Johnson came in and shoved him off on a B plot that was really dumb and handled poorly and was ultimately meaningless. And then they killed his fucking villain in the second movie. Like, they were developing this whole, like, potential rivalry between him and fucking Captain Phasma, and then it was just like, nah, she's dead now. In the second movie. Like, he killed both the fucking major villains in the second movie, Snoke and Phasma, and it's like, Rogue ex-Stormtrooper, vet child soldier was just a cool character to explore, and they simply did nothing with it. Phasma was such a disappointment. It's like, she was the perfect fucking foil to him! And they could have even, like, tried to build up towards, like, a potential, like, him trying to redeem her thing, because ultimately she's exactly like him in terms of, like, the exploitation and everything done against them as, like, fucking brainwashed child soldiers and all that. Not to mention that stupid secret in the third movie they intentionally left unanswered, which is basically just that fucking Finn was Force sensitive. Which is just like, god damn it, we could have had fucking Finn being a Jedi, and you motherfuckers chose instead to give us a whole weird-ass Poe backstory in the third movie. I didn't need a backstory for Poe. Poe was a fucking hotshot pilot who was being groomed to take over as the general. And just needed to learn some humility. I don't need him fucking with his weird, like, bounty hunter fucking girlfriend from his past. Like, what the fuck is this? Took her at gunpoint in the first movie to cowardly betray the entire base, only to decide her armor's blast-proof Beskar in the second movie. Gwendolyn Christie should have gotten a full hand-to-hand fight scene with Chewie in the first movie. There's just so much, like, missed opportunities in those movies, which is why I constantly say it's like, the idea behind a lot of the things in the sequel trilogy is like, they're not terrible. It's just the fucking writing was bad. They fucking missed so many good opportunities. It's funny how the LEGO Holiday Special talked about Finn being a Jedi and Rey training him more than the finale of the sequel trilogy. Yeah. I mean, everything in the final movie was just so bad. I mean, I did think, like, the whole usage of, like, them using, like, the Force bond between Kylo and Rey was, like, kind of inventive. In another timeline, they're absolutely lit. Yeah. Like, I think the idea behind, like, the Force bond between Rey and Kylo that was explored in, like, the final thing was decently cool, and they could have used it for some more, like, inventive fight scenes and everything. I think that was, like, my one idea that they used in there, that they, like, explored the Force bond between them in the second movie, but then did a really cool thing with it in the third. Using it to pass the lightsaber is pretty cool. Oh yeah, and it's just like, imagine if they had done shit like that, like, the entire fight. Like, even if they, like, fully, like, passed, like, an entire person through, just, like, chucking, like, one of the people that he's fighting over to Rey so that she can fight, and then, or, like, just constantly passing weapons back and forth, or shit like that. because like at the end of the day they were gonna kill Kylo Ren anyway, so why not go balls to the walls with it? Like it's gonna leave anyway. Be a real dud because the Knights of the Ren had not been explored at all. God, yeah, it's like they hyped up the Knights of Ren for so long, and then it was just nothing. The Knights of who? The people that fucking Kylo Ren fought at the end of the movie. Like all the people in like black armor that kind of looked like Kylo Ren knockoffs. I know that's the joke. Like, how are they more threatening than Snoke's actual royal guard? And that's the thing, like, the fucking Snoke's actual royal guard, like, that entire fight scene was sick as shit. I loved that fight scene. It ruled. Like, they had cool inventive weapons, and there were, like, so many fun ways of, like, taking down the enemies throughout that fight. Which is like, the funny thing is that they could have easily had in that fucking, in that moment in the second movie, instead of having it be the Snoke's royal guard, instead have been the Knights of Ren. And then like have some of them like escape or get away, or like bow to him at the end of that fight so that they could come back for the finale. I don't know. I thought that was going to be the reason Kylo Ren's name was Kylo Ren, because they like all worked together and their names ended with Ren. Absolutely should have been, yeah. Yeah, no. They really should have kind of explained what the fuck was the deal with the Knights of Ren. It's just kind of, they just exist. And you know they're called the Knights of Ren, but it's like, they didn't really serve any kind of purpose in the movie. They were just someone for him to fight in the ending. Mixture of New Sith Order and the Inquisitors. Yeah. Like, it could have even been, like, a plot thing of, like, okay, fucking Kylo Ren was super pissed at, like, Luke for, like, failing him and, like, trying to murder him and everything. What if the Knights of Ren were, like, Kylo's attempt to, like, have students of his own and think that he's better than them, but, like, he realizes his mistakes as they, like, turn on him? Because, you know, Sith stuff. I figured they were supposed to be students from the academy that left with Ren. Yeah, it's like, maybe that was the implication, but it's like, they didn't explain that. Ever. We dial back a second, talk about the awful fight with Snoke's Royal... What do you mean the awful fight with Snoke's Royal Guards? I love that fight. Disappearing dagger? I mean disappearing dagger. One of the guards had twin daggers that out of nowhere disappeared in his hand when attacking Rey. That's just a continuity error. I still think the choreography and like the actual like the look of the arena and everything was really good. What am I missing? Oh wait. Completely missed this chair. They had to fudge some stuff where it was like gotta throw to let them win, but you get that in most group fight scenes, TBH. Yeah. I still think that like there was a lot of really like creative stuff in that fight, and then like the general thing of the fucking arena looked really cool. How impossible it is for you to like 2 versus 8 against skilled opponents. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, with like Kylo Ren like winning in his fights like makes decent sense, but like even Rey like they kind of proved in like the first movie that Rey was capable of like fighting like melee wise against a number of opponents. Like she's used to that, which I know like a lot of people are like, how is she like using this thing and like fighting decently well with it and everything? And it's like, I mean, from the start she knows how to use it. They should have given her a lightsaber staff. Oh my fucking god, I'm so pissed that they didn't either give her a lightsaber staff or a double-bladed lightsaber. That was the most pissed thing about the entire thing. Even at the end where they let her make her own lightsaber, why was it not double-bladed? Ah! So mad. It's right there. It's so obvious. She literally uses a staff in the first movie and you give her a fucking one-handed weapon? What is wrong with you? They even tease us with evil Rey. I know! It's so annoying. You want a double saber creates atrocity. Yeah, that weapon was real dumb looking. Swing sofa cushion. One of the pawn liners. They did like Kylo's saber though. Yeah, I don't think the crossguard saber looks bad at all. I think it's cool. And then like Jedi Survivor even like ran with it a little bit to end up kind of implying that crossguard sabers were used as like kind of like heavier like two-handed sabers. To kind of match how like aggressive Kylo's style was, where he was like doing real big wide swings and everything. I don't care if they're potentially impractical, they're cool and that's all that matters. Yeah. Crossguard in the crystal was even unstable, that's why it had the fiery appearance. Yeah. That's undefeatable. Yeah. I love the floating arms. Is it like actually detecting my fucking my VR headset off to the side? That'd be wild if it is, which is why it's summoning those just floating arms. That katana saber in the old animated spin-off thing was pretty cool too. Oh yeah, like I love the variations of sabers and everything, and I like the idea of like newer Jedi and everything making their sabers use like less standardized stuff and kind of experiment with that stuff. his mask wasn't half bad until he shattered it. I even liked it whenever it was like reformed, but like it made no sense for him to reform it at that point. Like I like the reformed look with like the red cracks and everything, but at that point he was done pretending to be like Vader. And it just doesn't make sense for him to suddenly be like, suddenly I am regressing in my character back to this. What was up with that trilogy's fetish of killing off the older beloved characters? Han was the one thing, but then it got ridiculous. Yeah, like, I can understand, like, wanting to kind of pass the torch and everything, but some of them was ridiculous. Though I will say, like, I was perfectly fine with them, like, having the moment of, like, Rey, like, getting pissed and angry and like giving into that as she like tries to like pull down the ship and then accidentally killing Chewbacca, and then they immediately walked it back and was like, no, he's okay, there's another ship that's flying away that has Chewbacca on it, it's fine. And it's just like, the fuck, that had actual consequences and everything for her giving into the dark side. Like, you immediately walk back the consequences. And Leia makes sense just because, you know, she passed away IRL. But, like, the whole C-3PO scene in the third movie, like, made no sense. No sense. He's, like, talking about, like, I'm so glad to be surrounded by friends as I, like, pass away and everything, and it's just, like, you haven't interacted with any of these fucking characters. This means nothing. C-3PO thing just felt like them fucking with the fans. Like, I don't necessarily think it was them fucking with the fans. I think they were trying to fish for like a sentimental moment and everything to retire like C-3PO as a character, but it's like, you are a robot, you cannot just die. No, it's just like fucking... Nah, shit, I'm covering my chat. No, chat, get over here. But it's just like, he's talking about like being surrounded by friends and everything. It's like, I think he has had like 2 words of conversation to like these characters throughout the entire fucking thing. What do you mean surrounded by friends? They ever explain why he had that red arm? I think it was just a reference back to the fact that, like, in some of the earlier stuff, there was, like, certain scenes where, like, C-3PO had, like, a silver arm, and it was just, like, a replacement thing while things was going on. I think it was just, like, a visual thing so they could sell toys. Wow, I have a red arm now. Wacky, like in every movie. Yeah. I think it was just an excuse to sell more toys. You know, Disney stuff. Oh, we got you. You thought you were going to kill off C-3PO and Chewbacca, but we didn't. I mean, they kind of did kill off C-3PO from what I remember. I might be remembering wrong, though. I watched that movie one time, and I had no desire to ever rewatch it again. Meanwhile, I have rewatched The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi for different reasons. That third movie is a mess. After killing off Han, Leia, and Luke. Yeah, they just reinstalled it afterwards and he was fine. Oh. I don't necessarily think that them killing off Luke was, like, necessary. Everything with Luke was unnecessary. They could have gone a different route with all of that. I don't think Luke turning into a jaded old asshole was, like, the play. Like, I'm sorry, this is Luke Skywalker, the man who, like, tried to redeem Darth Vader, the man who looked at, like, one of the scariest space wizards in all of, like, of his time, and threw his weapon away in front of him. And you're telling me that this man was going to strike down his best friend's child, like his sister's child, his fucking nephew? Hi, Fuzzball. We're just vibing and chilling and also talking about Star Wars. Han Solo going from risking his life to save some goober he barely knew on Hoth to running away from his own family. Like, Han Solo, at the very least, like... Han Solo, like, has some precedence for different things, where it's, like... falling back into old habits and everything, but, like, Luke doesn't make sense. His dad, who slaughtered thousands, including children, he can be redeemed. I can save him. His nephew has a couple of dark side thoughts. He's too dangerous to be left alive. Yelling and shouting after unpacking the presents, insults and whatnot was thrown around. Everyone got exhausted. Aw, I'm sorry, Bernie. But yeah, I think that's also why they've done, like, gone through such an effort in the, like, Mandalorian and everything to, like, represent Luke well, because they're just like, we know we kind of fucked up. We need to win people back over and show a good Luke. Even if I still think that weird, like, deep fake AI Luke is weird, and I would have just preferred them get a new actor. Luke didn't even go and confront Kylo in person. Yeah, it was just a force projection of himself. Disney hitting us with that digital necromancy. Like, I'm not a fan of it every time it happens. It's so weird looking. The real Luke would have helped explain those dark side thoughts to Ben at the time. Yeah, it's just like, he's a troubled young fucking... He's a troubled young guy who's, like, grappling with some shit. Like, Luke's not gonna look at that and be like, you're too dangerous to live. It's like, I redeemed a fascist. It's like, I can't redeem a fucking angsty boy. Luke explaining puberty. It's also wild to me because Luke started fucking Return of the Jedi force choking Gamorreans left and right, and it's like, oh, this is the Paragon. It's like you're sounding like a little bit of a hypocrite there, fucking Luke. Do I have, like... I cannot buy another washer. Or no, this isn't the shop. Where's the shop? I wanna buy... Can I get a new... I cannot... Oh, wait. I do not have quite enough for the Urban X U2. Gotcha. Look at similar dark thoughts in the second movie. I mean, on Dagobah, he fought a hallucination of Vader who was Luke under the mask. Yeah, like... One of Luke's fears was ending up like Vader. Get a few presents, a karaoke system, a battery-powered drill with a battery and a bit set, a landline phone, and kitchen towels. Nice! You know, somewhat Ben was going through, he could have easily guided Ben when he was dealing with that. Apparently one of the big problems they had in writing was Luke being too cool and upstaging their new OCs. Wonder how much that played into them writing them like this. Like... There's easy ways to, like, go around that. It seems so stupid to be like, Luke's upstaging our guys. It's like you could have even, like, done a whole thing, like, fucking having Luke die at some point, but it is just, like, just write your OCs to be better. What do you mean Luke is too cool? Star Wars was cool, lack of dogs makes it pretty mid. But it's so funny to me to be like, of course he's cool. He's Luke fucking Skywalker. What do you mean he's too cool? Like, you include these characters because they're cool. You just have your new characters also do some cool shit. And, like, this is like a fully realized Luke Skywalker, like, Master of the Force Luke Skywalker. Of course he's gonna be fucking cool. I think the long story short of that is just like, hey, you lazy motherfuckers, right? I wrote the Luke and Kylo backstory, would have been Ben was secretly being manipulated by Snoke, not Palpatine Snoke, and by the time Luke realizes it's too late and the attack while sleeping scene would have had the roles reversed where Kylo tries to attack Luke while he was sleeping. I mean, yeah, and that could still be seen as a, like, a thing of Luke being like, I should have seen it coming, like, I'm blaming myself for this now. Like I was so blinded by my like kindness and arrogance like towards like him that I didn't even see what was happening underneath my nose. But still have Luke deep down want to save Kylo. Still flawed, but makes more sense than what the movies did. Yeah. It could even be seen as, like, a flaw of him that, like, he's still trying so hard to save Kylo despite all the bad things Kylo's doing, that it's like, at this point, is it better to just, like, try and get rid of Kylo than it is to save him? Like, how many people are kind of getting hurt in pursuit of Luke trying to do this? Or not having the guts to stop him? And then you have interesting Star Wars stories. It even introduce conflict between like Finn and Luke, where it's like Finn is like, we can't fucking redeem his ass. Like, have you seen all the horrible shit he's done? I've been a stormtrooper. Like, I've seen firsthand the shit that he's done. You can't just like let that go. Too much happened off screen between the end of the OG trilogy and the sequels. They should have probably set the first movie to actually start with the Kylo Luke Snoke story. That could have been interesting. I think part of the issue was the fact that they were trying to work with the fact that all the actors were older. Actually get to see it all unfold. Yeah, it could have been interesting. But it is the thing that they were trying to work with the fact that the actors were older, and that was before they were messing with the de-aging technology. And have it where Luke was in self-exile's way for him to try and meditate and find the bit of Ben to redeem him, as well as partial punishment for failing to save Ben while he was training him. Yep. And then meanwhile, it can be seen as, like, a thing of, like, maybe even Ray criticizing him for being like, while you're sitting here meditating on it and like punishing yourself, like he's still out there doing things. Like this is still happening. Or still Finn. I like the idea of Finn and Luke kinda at odds with each other. Like, Finn really doesn't seem like the kind of character to, like, easily forgive and, like, let things go and etc. Like, he's a soldier. Wonder if Luke ever went to a space femboy Hooters. These are the things I can do without. Come on. Luke having a drink there, like, this is what I fought for. This is what the New Republic needs. Having the confrontation between Kylo and Luke more meaningful and having that during the fight. Luke never strikes back, only blocking and dodging Kylo's attack. Yeah. I could even see that as a thing of, like, at one point in the fight, Luke just fully, like, letting Kylo, like, stab him or whatever, and Kylo's just, like, confused and upset and everything. Like, why wouldn't you fight back? It's like, why'd you just let that happen? And just Luke using it as one more moment of, like, reaching out to Kylo and being like, it's like, I still see good in you. You still have the opportunity to redeem yourself and whatnot. And, like, that could have been a way to kill Luke and have it be super meaningful. Though that might be two moments of Kylo killing off an origin character, so to speak. But things could get moved around if we were doing a new type of movie. Disney would have had him open his robe to show a Beskar breastplate. At least in that way, it would be more meaningful and even have partial parallels with Obi-Wan's death too. Yeah, like, that's the idea. It's the whole fucking George Lucas thing of, like, the things repeating in cycles, it rhymes. People have memed that to death, but it's like, Star Wars is a story of cycles. Imagine if Luke used the same fighting style as Yoda. Wild. Luke just flipping around all over the fucking place. Wonder if this 40K movie Henry Cavill is pushing is gonna be any good. I hope so. It'd be cool. I think Henry Cavill's a good actor. He just keeps getting put into projects where either the filmmakers don't care or they just fuck him over. I wonder if the whole Be With Me scene where we hear the voices of all the old Jedi had them also appear in ghost form too. Yeah. Though I do think that that scene was silly to me. I don't really see why that scene was in there. Like, the whole thing of, like, Rey being all the Jedi or whatever the fuck that was, I was like, I don't really get what they were trying to do there. Shame Henry Cavill was a damn good Geralt of Rivia. Oh yeah, he was, because he was a genuine fan of it and he understood what he needed to do. He understood the assignment. Which is also why I think they ultimately got rid of him, because he refused to be part of it because they were changing it too much from the fucking host material. They were making it worse. And he was like, nah, I'm not going to be a part of this. You do it right or you don't have me. I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender and took one single note. It's like, if they were trying to go for a whole thing of, like, fucking Rey, like, Rey belonging, then they didn't need the scene of her calling herself Rey Skywalker at the end. If they were trying to do it as a thing of, like, she's representing the future of the Jedi, then her calling herself all the Jedi doesn't really kind of make sense. And it's not like she studied underneath every single one of their teachings or whatever, or talked to their Force ghosts or anything. It was just kind of randomly in there. You hear that one of the writers said they had to change it because people wouldn't understand the story of The Witcher? It's so stupid. It's like, that's your job! Your job as the writer is to make people understand it. The fuck are you talking about? Do your job! The audience will simply not understand that Geralt must fuck this monster. He must. It's just so wild to me how often I hear writers be like, we just can't do this thing, and it's like, that's your job! Just write! Your job is to figure out the reasons for different shit. You can't be like, there's no reasons. Fucking do your job! Story that spans several books and several hit games based off those books. I think there's a big enough general audience that understand the story of The Witcher, jackass. Kind of wild how many projects literally do not even have a writer. Yeah. Like, you need a good writer. some things are just like, we don't need that, we can figure it out, we can do it just kind of off the cuff, and then it turns out bad, and they're like, what happened? They come back, they think we'll make them look better. You guys are just too stupid to understand our vision. It's like, yeah, that's what makes people want to watch your movie, insulting them. It's like, I'm sorry, if you think people won't get it because they have to have like a certain IQ level or something, maybe that says that the thing that you're writing is you're freaking explaining it in a really stupid way. Just be a better writer. Again. I say it again. Do your fucking job! And when it comes to adapting a beloved story, there's this little thing called doing your research. Yeah, there's so many people who are just like, oh, we're gonna adapt this story, but at the same time, we're gonna like hire a bunch of people who aren't attached to it and everything because we want it to have like mainstream appeal or anything. And it's just like, it's like, dude, just fucking adapt it. Like, a bunch of people like this thing. That implies that there is appeal. You don't need to fucking dumb it down or like get a bunch of like Hollywood actors who don't know what the fuck they're doing attached to this thing being like, we know better. Like, no. Like, people already like this thing. You don't need to fucking change it. Unless the host material genuinely is, like, an incomprehensive mess. And, like, even the people who enjoy it are like, this is a mess, I'd love it if somebody kind of adjusted things to fit better. But that's hard to do. And you run a lot of risks with that. Wish there was a law that makes it where writers and producers must spend the first couple of months must look and research the source of the story they're adapting. I don't think they can make that a law. But it would be nice. But I think to a certain degree you do need to like the source material that you're fucking adapting. I've seen so many things of like people being like, oh yeah, we adapted this thing, but I don't really like that thing, so we changed a bunch of stuff, and it's like, if you don't like it, why are you working on it? It's like the main crowd you're gonna draw in for this thing are fans of that thing, and if you don't like that thing, you're not gonna be fucking getting their money and pandering to them. Hi, Burzel. Hop up, 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 up. You should be also looking back at that comment, that rant that must have made me lose some brain cells in my botched English writing. Think he'd realize that he's infatuated with ideals. Possessions are far from social policies. Daddy works on the council. Mrs. loves silver spoons. He'd never kiss a Tory, but this boy was too good to lose. You haven't got far to fall. Yeah, sleeping with the lights on. If she's not there, I know she's going to. Changing some minor things of a story, if either to A, help viewers understand a thing you probably won't have time to explain properly, or B, to spice it up a little so you don't feel like you're just doing a one-to-one repeat of the story. If it doesn't make the story fall apart, then that's okay. Yeah. But it's like, oftentimes the things that work like that are from a place of like, I like this thing, I just know that the host material doesn't necessarily do this thing in the best way. Or it's like, there's already been an adaptation that has done it this way. Maybe I can adjust this one thing. And to get some new, like, thematic meaning out of it, or etc. Power washing a roof in this matter is extremely unsafe. Oh yeah, IRL this would be very unsafe. I mean, I could just slip and go whoa 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 whoa, but it's fine. Been scared of sleeping with the lights on, though she's not there. I know she's going to his flat. Capricorn, oh fuck that. It's at 6 hours and all that. I've been scared of sleeping with the lights on. She's not there, I know. Going to his flat. Capricorn, oh fuck that. It's at 6 hours and all that. Snow cannot be harmed by mortal means. I am beyond your puny understanding. Cower before the infinite vastness of snow. Okay, explaining this part like this won't make sense in a movie or TV show style, won't work. We should try it like this, or we won't have time to do this the same way the original source did it. How can we either try to tell this part, or it's entirely necessary to have it? Yeah. Remember, kids, snow is capable of granulating you before you've drawn your weapon. Do not try it. At least a couple Tuesdays too before I learn what my friends too said it last time. I'm not afraid of empty rooms, I'm not afraid of new perfume, and in fact, my dear, I'm fucking terrified. Okay, I'm missing one of the gutters. Is it this gutter? Yeah. When it comes to the Netflix adaptations of Yu Yu Hakusho and One Piece, they have writers that are fans of the original material are turned into series, so we have more time to explain plot lines and arcs of the story. Yeah, I've never understood the practice to take super long comic storylines or shows with multi seasons and everything, and then they'll be like, bang, we're gonna turn it into a movie, and it's like, how? This is not a... These are storylines and everything that took hours upon hours to fucking... of content to fully explain out and explore, and you're gonna do it in 2 hours? Are you smoking crack? What are you doing? Okay, I got that post. This post? Yeah, this post. Cool. All we have left is the roof. Someone like you. Eyes is dead, it's mine, it's fine, it's normal people things, it's still I hear in silence. I also don't understand why live action. I don't know. Some things I think to a degree, live action in some ways could be cheaper. It could also be seen as having the potential to be seen as prestige television, or just have the air of being taken more seriously because it's live action. I don't know, it's probably dumb Hollywood stuff. I've always been more of a fan of animation in general, because I just think that there are things you can do with animation that you can't really do with live action. I do find it weird adapting things that already exist into live action, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, it's unless you're planning to do something different, what's the point of this existing? I already have the other thing. Which is also why I love whenever things like the Final Fantasy VII remake happen, where Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, where it's they're still drawing from the original source, and in a lot of ways it mirrors things that happened in the original, but it's they're doing something completely different to justify its existence. It's not just the same thing again, but in a different fucking media manner. Hate that stupid animation is just for kids or adult losers argument. It's so weird because it's the same people who will look at all the old Pixar movies and everything and be like, this is art, this is incredible, like I cried and everything, but then we'll still like attach the kid moniker to it because it's just like, art is art. I don't know why we at some point decided that animation was for children. Only thing, it took me like halfway through Scott Pilgrim Takes Off to realize it was a spin-off, never saw the original stuff. The only thing I knew about Scott Pilgrim going in was a cunty guy at uni that modeled his entire life on being Scott and looking for his girl. That's a big red flag because the whole series is supposed to be about how Scott's kind of shitty. The whole thing is about like, hey, this is the story about a protagonist who gets better, who realizes that he's been shitty to people in his life and like is undoing that cycle. And Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is not only a thing of Scott realizing that, but then also having Ramona realize the same thing and having Ramona grow. I mean, Ramona's kind of always known that she's been kind of shitty, but like before she just kind of was just like, yeah, I've been shitty in the past anyway. Whereas Scott Pilgrim Takes Off was like, nah, Ramona fucking owns what she did and apologizes for it. I used to love fucking with him, huge music snob, so I'd regularly come with absurdly stupid and bad music takes just to watch him fizzle. So not much has changed for you then, huh? Well... Just moved on to awful Fortnite-related gaming takes instead. I just laugh at, like, every game trying to be Fortnite, and then just being like, your appeal wasn't being like Fortnite. I don't know why you're trying to be Fortnite. In the series, it looks like Ramona ran away from the mistakes that she made, and if her fight with that one ex is shown, she is trying to properly own up to her mistakes and trying to improve. Yeah. Every game trying to be Fortnite, then Fortnite flipping around and becoming every game. Fortnite's just like, fine, we'll just do your game but better. Hooray! Off the roof. Ah, my legs! Hooray! I have a new washer. Yes. Stronger. Yes. The crappy Saints Row reboot looked like what you would get if you ordered Fortnite from Temu or Wish. Which I feel bad about because I loved fucking Saints Row. Well, my brain quietly went on a journey of like thinking about how some of the people behind the Saints Row reboot were like a bit butthurt about it. It was revealed that it was not at all what they wanted to make for the reboot, but Deep Silver thought that it would be more relatable and attract bigger audiences with the crappy student debt and Gen Z humor style. Yeah, that's what that's what appealed to the kids. Fucking talking down to them and trying to relate to them, because that always works. Yeah, I remember fucking Deep Silver being all butthurt that, like, people didn't like the reboot and everything. And it's just, it reminded me of all the people, all the, like, fans and everything who are all butthurt about fucking Spider-Man 2 not winning anything at the Game Awards. And I just remembered kind of laughing whenever I heard that, because it was just like you do realize what it was up against, right? Like, everything that it was up against in basically every category was just like either revolutionary or was just like such a big deal in the cultural panopticon and everything that it's like, of course it was gonna win. Like, you can whine all day about Spider-Man and how you really feel like Spider-Man when you play, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, those games didn't really do anything revolutionary or whatever. Like, they kind of look pretty. They're very decent games and everything, but it's just shrug. Devs wanted to do more retelling of the original of the Saints with some of the returning characters, such as Johnny Gat, Julius, Dex, Troy, Shondi, and Pierce. I would have liked that. That would have been cool. It's like, and you can inherently, like, introduce newer ideas and everything into a reboot. And like, you want to know the easy way to appeal to fucking... It's like Gen Z? Just, like, be honest and maybe include some gay characters. Boom. I mean, already fucking most characters were like pansexual or bi and fucking Saints Row 4, where you could just fucking romance anyone, any character you wanted to. Kind of have it as like a serious gang in a partially ridiculous world as a way to try to mix the original serious style of the first two games with the wacky version of the later games. Yeah, I love that. Just have a very like a kind of grounded, serious gang dealing with the wackiest fucking bullshit. Celia, hi, thank you for the raid, I appreciate it. I hope you had a fun time. Welcome, welcome. You devoted to me when I'll be playing Black 3. Nice. Think of me when you sleep. All you do hurt better than me. Who covered Barney in shit again? Grounded in reality, but with some really wacky ideas, such as maybe toying with the idea of a furry gang. Hell yeah, furry gang, rise up. I mean, they included fursuits and everything in their games in the past, so... You're a furry? Yup. I know. Controversial. Nobody's ever seen this coming from me. Completely blindsided. way I would have done it would have been the iconic 3 gang antagonist, but have it where one was serious, say like a drug cartel or something, and one that's in the middle, and one that's really wacky, like the furry gang idea. I can kind of see that. You could even have side quests with like potentially smaller gangs that like just kind of aren't maybe necessarily fully crucial to the main plot, but you can do some quests for them and explore whatever's going on with them. Le boop de bun. Hi, Tiger Man. Pa 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 pa. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good Crimmus. Nice. Want to boop and climb on top. Wow. Mountable. Oh my gosh. Yeah, good Crimbus. Got Mario Kart RC car. Nice. I think the strength of a lot of like the like especially like fucking Saints Row the Third is like a lot of the plot is inherently silly, but they always kind of treat it genuinely serious, and they manage to have like genuine character moments and like heart throughout it. But they were just always unafraid of like tackling like things that like normal fucking stuff would think was too like childish or unsanitary to like investors or whatever to include in their game, like including a dildo bat or letting people dress up as furries or etc. Furry meth gangs. Also fun inclusions of songs. There's a vibrator weapon in Yakuza like a dragon. Makes sense. Serious gang would be perfect for your oh shit shocking moments like the death of a favorite character, while the wacky gang would be perfect for the wackier missions. Furry gang where the furries are turning people into more furries. I love the idea of like trying to like sneak into like a furry gang party or whatever, and like wearing like a shitty mascot thing, and then like people calling them out on it, or even knowing that it's them because it's shit. And then them having to actually look into fucking getting a fursuit or whatever, and just being like, Jesus, this is expensive. Or even just like even like trying to like not take the furry gang seriously, and then realizing like the furry gang has like really skilled like hackers and programmers and like etc. all throughout, and it's like, okay, maybe we do have to take them a little more seriously. We laughed at them for wearing like for wearing animal outfits, but they're rocking our shit. When they connect with their disguise a bit too much and become a furry. I do feel like that'd be like the joke of the mission, is that like maybe you have like one of the other characters come with you, and you're like going through the whole scenario, and like maybe your main character is kind of being a little blasé about the whole thing, but then one of the characters is like kind of getting into it, and then every time your character kind of looks over, they're like, what? Just immediately embarrassed. Hi, Denny. Got back from an outing today, and nice. Hope you have fun. I love they try to get a suit commission so they can sneak in and they get shocked the price and make the comment, well, now we know how they make their money without using hookers or drugs. Oh yeah, and like even like being like, cool, we'll get this commission, and like we'll sneak in. Like, how long is it gonna take? It's like, oh, it's several months. And it's like, what? I don't have that kind of time. Like, you have a pre-built? It's like, well, it's not gonna look the way you wanted. Got a blahage today? Yes, blahage. Going on an outing, leaking Joe Biden's persona, outing him as furry. I do feel like that's a really good joke, though, of just like fucking having like maybe like a whole separate character creator where you're like designing your fursuit, and then you go through the whole thing, and it's like, all right, that'll be ready for you in like 3 months. It's like, what? I don't have that kind of time. It's like, oh well, here you go, and then they just give you a pre-built one. More a Toby Fox joke. Well, I just imagine it could even be like you asking to borrow like the creator's fucking fursuit, and then while you're there, people mistaking you for the creator, and so there's like connotations and everything, and people keep assuming you're the person, and like doing things or making certain jokes or etc. Spooky pre-built you have. Another Saint, preferably Pierce. Maybe in purple. The rest look at him. Gotta rock our colors. I was thinking that it would be Pierce who got into it. It sounds like a Pierce thing. Thomas Fishbach the cave and drop horn. What? Daggy! Wah! Stand up. Sit down. Wah! Eat smart today as well. Got a Korean corn dog with cheddar cheese. Ooh, I've heard good things about Korean corn dogs. Markiplier's brother, the Two Kinds guy. Yeah, I did remember hearing stuff about, like, a Fishbach doing, like... Yeah. I just didn't know if that actually was Mark's brother, if that was just an internet joke. I hope you're doing well, Jackie. Hope you had a good Christmas. Wow. Eternal tragedy of forever being known as Markiplier's brother. Yeah, that is the weird thing of, like, thinking about, like... being the sibling of, like, a famous person or whatever, and, like, constantly kind of knowing that someone else will kind of always be considered over you. Instead of based off of your own stuff. Good, spent it with Lappy, so it was great. Aww. Cuties. Thinking Pierce would be perfect for the guy to go for missions involving cars and outfits so the Saints have their style and fancy looks like low riders. Yeah. I think Shondi would be better for, like, more standard, like, assault things and whatnot. And if something requires more of a, like, bombastic touch, then, like, Johnny Gat. Rockstar surprises us with a new open world IP entirely about going to a fur con. It would be entirely wild if, like, Rockstar randomly, like, during a GTA game was just suddenly like, and over here is the fur con. Anyway. I mean, at the very least, they've always included, fucking animal masks in their games. Whenever I played a bit of GTA Online, I always rocked a fox mask. Mostly because they didn't have a bunny mask. Would buy instantly. Got 2 Dreamcast games, a Miss Pac-Man cart for Sega Genesis. Might be getting my Dreamcast battery modified for the clock and controller fuse tomorrow as well. Nice! 10 squats. Johnny is perfect for more violent stuff like assaults, and we bring back old Shondi, who would be perfect for parties and drugs. Ah. Jules wants to be impressed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. New DC movie where the hero is a fursuiter. The fursuit has nothing to do with their powers, they just think it's neat. Honestly, that sounds like something that fucking Miss Marvel would do. Young Kamala Khan. That sounds like something she'd do. Guys have to be fit with so many squats, or you're lying about the squats. We can't see them. Trust me, I'm not lying about the squats. Nightcrawler Foxy Foxy, thank you for the biddy. Boy kisser. And watch the new Marvel stuff. It's getting to the point where there's just too much Marvel stuff for me to see it all. Oh yeah, I mean, like, I haven't watched it either, but I just know Kamala Khan as a character. And I actually genuinely like Kamala Khan as a character. And just from what I've heard of the newer Marvels stuff, generally everybody always says that she's the like, of that movie, I know that people generally said that she was the always the standout. And the actress genuinely cares about, like, Marvel stuff. Which is very fitting for someone playing Kamala Khan. Only Marvel stuff I'm following is Spider-Man. Next would be the one to ultimately screw over everyone else to give himself a leg up. Troy would be the guy to give intel on police actions, undercover cop, and Julius would be the leader who'd be killed off in the final stretch of the game, and our character would take over by the Saints by the end. Yeah, makes sense. I'd play it. The more we talk about it, the more I keep thinking about how I would do the reboot. Add an optional sex scene in it. I might buy it, just like how I might get Cult of the Lamb because they're adding sex to the game. Oh yeah, I know. I don't think it'll be any kind of sex that we can see, but it might be like leading back to the leading back to one of their, like, little houses and everything, and then, like, hearts going above it. But we'll know what that means. They have no plans to change the rating of their game, so that's why I say that it'll be like that. Just add an optional sex scene in it, I might buy it. Oh, right, I already read that. Need that wildlife level of sexual detail or I'm not buying. If they haven't a kid in a character, Lilt needs to see those 4 penis heads. Wildlife is such an absurd project. I don't know what that is. I just use context clues. What is it, like a game with like a weird level of detail to everything? Yeah, there's a throwaway scene like in Saints Row 4 or like in Saints Row 2 where it's a mini game. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Saints Row doing like full-on like romance plot lines and everything, like it's a fucking BioWare game or a Baldur's Gate situation of just like being able to talk with them and fucking romance. Saints Row usually does good with their characters and making them likable. Fight Club, insurance fraud, fuzz, and mayhem. Not to a weird level, just a lot of smut stuff, but the dev also doesn't seem to entirely know what game they're making, so it's sinking loads of time into this open world shooting game nobody wants. One of those things where the dev hasn't really focused enough on what the game is or what they want the game to be, and so it's kind of suffering for it. For a long time, the only way to access it was to spend like $15 a month on Patreon for the latest version. Strange. Okay, I got all the struts. Good. Except you. Multiple safe houses, all with unique interior, some if not all customizable like decor, TVs, beds. Yeah. People like having home bases and being able to make them look unique. Song is a vibe. Yeah. Jackie sent it to me. Jackie's got good taste. Weapon customization. Yeah. Really interested in thinking about how I'd want the Saints Row game to be. You're fine. You don't gotta apologize. I mean, that's like, if I made like a Star Wars game, I'd want a Star Wars game that takes the point of view of the Sith and doesn't have a whole storyline centered around just redeeming your person from the dark side, because that's annoying to be advertised like, hey, you're gonna play as the bad guys, and then the entire game is about turning to the good. Like, I liked it with The Force Unleashed because it made sense and etc. But like, yeah. An absurd jump scare today. Left half an onion out after making burgers. I come down, look down, there's a house spider drinking its juices. Wild. Put a glass over him, then Mythos came in and said, free him, and removed the glass. Current whereabouts unknown. Wild. Lives in fear now. Cool mission idea. You and your crew try to intercept a drug deal. When you get there, all you find is experimental weed. Type the Reaper. You try it, and all of a sudden you're ambushed. And you have to fight off the attack while high. The Reaper plays. Yeah. That's one of the things I always loved about the Saints Row games, is having the, like, the fucking licensed music come in during certain parts. Just usually done very well. Want a detective cop game where you do a big bust on a weed dealership, and at the end your boss comes up and goes, "Sorry, weed got legalized 10 minutes ago," and lets everyone go. Whole game just says whatever crime being done getting legalized right at the end of the mission. Just slowly becoming more and more just fucking pointless. Your character getting gradually more and more depressed. Little maid fluff. Played some Portal 2 VR, it's wild. My face wasn't burned off yet by the solar pathways. Yeah, I imagine fucking Portal 2 VR is wild. I feel like that game, it would be easy to fucking get motion sick in. A new job is available. I had 5 slots left, so I put it on the shelf, and they doubled my slots, and they put it back. Fluff! Glanced over for half a second, thought that game said Prostate Simulator! Everyone got more slots. Yeah, everyone's got more animated slots. Theoretically, if Snow put her power washer in, I can dig it. God. Hi, Fluff. Hope you're having good Crimmus. You still visiting family? Hello. Yee. Hope you're having a good time, Fluff. We'll miss my Dreamcast tomorrow. Aw. I think the furry Saints Row game should have at least one real werewolf in the furry gang. He's just like, when I joined, I thought things were a bit different, but everybody was real nice, so I stayed. Hey boss, we captured one of the furries. Points at a cell with a rabid werewolf in it. I can imagine that being a joke where it's like, I think we caught one of the furry gang members. They're a little aggressive though, and it just looks in the cell. It's like that is a full ass wolf. What the fuck? Like, are you sure? I thought it was just one of those realistic fursuits. It's like, no. That's a full-ass wolf. What the fuck is wrong with you? Rising to the streets, lock me up that cigarette, now strap shoes on my feet. Got to find a reason, the reason things went wrong. Got to find a reason why my money's all gone. Won't answer any of our questions. I named my Blahaj Echo. Nice, Echo the Dolphin. Someone that doesn't quite understand what a furry is and starts a fight with all the neighborhood wildlife. Final boss, you end up getting drugged, and in the hallucinations, the furry boss turns into a werewolf. Cinnabons yesterday with French toast. Nice. Me getting drugged to fight a boss. Am I in a Far Cry game? Speaking of Saints Row, I can't hear the song without hearing Pierce and the boss singing along. Yeah. That was one of my favorite little moments. Just the two of them sitting in the car and singing. Being drugged is a good excuse to have the final boss of the furry game be an actual werewolf because I'm still trying to make it grounded in reality. Yeah. Or they could just, like, go along with the whole, like, somewhat parody aspect of Saints Row and be like, well, furries are like, a bunch of furries are kind of infamous for being, like, programmers and hackers and everything. Why not make it, like, a big, like, robot fucking furry? And, like, as you fight the big robot, like, bits of the fursuit and everything get, like, shot off to reveal, like, the fucking cybernetics underneath. Goodbye, Danny. You like the idea of furries being hackers can make a great way for them to initially attack the Saints. Yeah. And then be hackers, artists, and the party people. Yeah. Also means the final boss thing that I was talking about could be less of a attack robot and more have been like a party animatronic thing that they made that they just fucking quickly tap into and make attack you for fucking things up. Initially attack the Saints by painting over their graffiti and hacking in their computers interfere with their work, or planting tons of art and pictures of their parties, promoting their artwork and parties. Just bought this for the Switch? Nice! It's fun! Nice and relaxing. Like, I just restarted it for to stream it. But I've fully, like, done everything off on my own just as a way of relaxing sometimes, where I just throw on music and just kind of clean. Party animatronic can have one FNAF gag was saying it was supposed to be for parties, but one night party got quirky and caused major damage to someone's skull. Friggin' can also be the ones using the wackier weapons. Yes, even the penetrator. Oh yeah, that'd work super well. Their melee weapon could be fursuit hands with blades on it for claws. Yeah, that'd be fun. If I'm gonna be honest, need a little space to breathe, and I'm living and loving my life. I will see if I'm gonna be honest. Need a little bit of the breeze, and I'm living and loving. Huzzah! All right, monkey bars. Yes. could have Fortnite crossover with anything, what would it be? With anything? Hmm. What is something that I think would be cool to see in Fortnite? Hmm. Because we really are to the point where theoretically anything could be in Fortnite. Hardest part is finding something not already in Fortnite. Yeah. I think Fallout could easily work in fucking Fortnite protogens. I mean, protogens aren't really a part of anything, though. They're just kind of a thing. Not really a collab for Fortnite to do. I mean, I think it'd be cool to see, like, Devil May Cry. I feel like that's an easy one to do. Again, Dante and Virgil as fucking skins. Maybe have a limited time item of, like, Virgil's sword. Yeah, Devil May Cry, if I had, like, unlimited, like, not worrying about if it would be a good, like, crossover or anything, Night in the Woods would be funny. I'd love to play fucking Fortnite as May from Night in the Woods. That'd be funny. My Little Pony would be a very funny crossover, just to see how the fuck they do it. I can't really imagine it'd be easy to do, especially because, like, canonically, MLP doesn't really have, like, Because Fortnite's kind of made it clear that they aren't really trying to do like alternate body types with their like main characters. It genuinely is just like upright Barbie in Fortnite. That would be fun. Yeah, DMC, Night in the Woods. It would never happen, but I have a big soft spot for the Soul Reaver games. It'd be really cool to see fucking a modern look at like Raziel and Kane. Master Chief and Darth Vader with Keely and Jonesy and Ponyville or whatever it is they live. No, you got that right. It's Ponyville. At least in the things that I've seen from it. I have no idea what they're doing nowadays. Amazing guess, more evidence that is impossible for me to be incorrect. I used to actually be like watch like MLP and everything and be involved in that stuff, but yeah. Especially nowadays with like the 3D animation thing, I don't think it works very well. They look like abominations. Only MLSP stuff I ever watched are these amazing joke dubs of like most old series. Yeah. A Fortnite recreation of the American Civil War would be a great trash fire. Jesus Christ. You know what? I think a hilarious thing to be included in Fortnite would be fucking Markiplier and his characters. Alt skin of the Meat Canyon Markiplier? What? Have you not seen him react to that? Maybe it somewhat sounds familiar. It's hard to remember. How dare you ask me to remember things, Lilt? Okay. Slot it into the video channel of your Discord for whenever that has the time or desire. Gotcha, gotcha. Climbing pole guards? Guards? Oh, that. One of the tower floors. Then large blue floor. Hey, almost done. Fuck yeah. Hey. Prototype polymer clay Roingus. Oh boy. Hmm. You know, I might change gears here a second. So let's okay, let's change gears. Okay, so I'm going to stop stream and then restart stream, and I think we're going to sit down and watch some stuff together and just keep the chill vibe going. But I think I'm done with a PowerWash simulator, and I want to do something, or still watch, but do stuff. You'll see. All right, so